lose their franchise tag on wide receiver George Pickens after just 1 year with the team. The projected cost of the franchise tag for Pickens would be roughly $28 million. Pickens, in every way you look at it, had a career year in 2025. He set single-year highs, in receptions, touchdowns, and yards. His 1,429 receiving yards was fourth most in a season in Cowboys history, behind only CeeDee Lamb and 2 seasons from Michael Irvin. Which, when you mention Irvin, you got to mention BTA. Graz, right move to put the franchise tag on Pickens?
I think so, yes. Look, this is a player that, comes over from Pittsburgh with, some concerns about, maybe focus went in and out, like when he was there and all that. I think after 1 good year, when you're already paying CeeDee Lamb in the mid-30 millions a year, I think franchising is the right move. Would the Cowboys do a long-term deal with Pickens? Sure. But would he be willing to be, in their pay structure, the T. Higgins to CeeDee Lamb's Jamar Chase, the Devontae Smith to CeeDee Lamb's A.J. Brown? I think if you're Pickens, you're probably shooting for more than that, and that's probably why, you end up franchising and trying to work something out.
And, Graz, you were saying for him getting a deal done, and the first being franchise tagged twice would get him how much?
$62 million roughly over the next 2 years.
So any deal, he would say, hey, that's a starting point.
I would, if I were him.
I would agree with you. If I'm the Dallas Cowboys, it is the correct move to franchise tag George Pickens. If I'm George Pickens, you can have that damn franchise tag. I want a long-term deal. And if I'm George Pickens, I'd say to the Cowboys, you know what? Let's do a long-term deal. That way, my cap number isn't sky high. We need help on the defense. I'm just a team player. I want what's best for the Dallas Cowboys. Sign me up long-term. We'll have this deal. We'll space it out. We'll do some void years, all of those fancy things you guys like to do when you do contracts, and then we'll go pay some guys to play some defense, and next thing you know, we're contenders. If I'm George Pickens, that's my selling point to the Dallas Cowboys. I'm a changed man. I'm ready to be here and be committed for the team.
Yeah, but it feels like Jerry's just going to look at you and be like, that's not how we do business here in old Dallas. We're going to drag this thing into August. We're going to make it uncomfortable for everybody.
That's probably true.
Yeah, listen, George Pickens has earned, the franchise tag and potentially a long-term deal. My biggest question is, if you do franchise him, what's his response? I mean, this is a guy, right? Like, this guy comes with a bit of a reputation. We saw a couple weeks that we weren't sure exactly what was being shown out on the field. He absolutely had a fantastic year. Did he play? But you paid CeeDee Lamb a bunch of money. You got a quarterback making a bunch of money. You got a good young offensive line, good running back. You're going to have to spend money on that other side. We talked about Max Crosby in the first hour. Go get a pass rusher like that, right? You got to go get something on that in the back end. So it's all going to be, can you do a long-term at a number he wants? Or if you do franchise him, you can make him play. How hard can you make him play? That's always going to be the ask when you're dealing with that.
The guy you franchised last year, you ended up trading before the season even started.
That's true, because he made an issue of it, right? And he didn't want to be there on the franchise tag, and the relationship fell apart. So, look, Jerry Jones, maybe he learned a lesson from last year. Maybe he's not going to have like a secret meeting with George Pickens and not his agent. Like, it's the same agent, by the way, that Micah uses. So, it could be I don't know. I don't know if we've ever done this before, but it could be like a whole offseason where we're talking about the Cowboys and a contract situation with a star player. I think it'd be a new topic for us for the offseason.
I don't know if we're equipped to handle
one of these years.
How close are they? Even if they get him, it's all honky-dory with them. Are they even close to being ready to make a serious run in the NFC?
I mean, you look at them on the offensive side of the ball, and you say, yes, you saw what Dak was able to do with CeeDee Lamb and with George Pickens on the outside and Ferguson and all of the guys they had. How much can they grow on the defensive side of the ball? I got a new coordinator coming in. How many other players can they get to come in there and contribute? Because if they can get better on the defensive side of the ball, and I'm not saying they have to go out there and be the Seattle Seahawks on the defensive side of the ball. They have to go out there and be adequate. Get to middle of the pack and a little bit better than that. And, yes, and this team can be a contender in the NFC.
I like that. I like it. Here's my thing. When you start talking about just be adequate on defenses, it changes the way you play offensively. Like, I know they had insanely good numbers on offense and played well.
Yeah.
That is, but there's a difference, right? Like we even talked about in the Super Bowl. When it's 12-0, when it's 9-0, you play a little more conservative. There's just a different style of play. I think they need to take serious advantage of a new defensive coordinator, put that in. It is a long road in the NFC, and they're going to play some really good teams who can score points. Defense is going to matter. That's where you put the lion's share of your money, and go get guys. Go get closers that can truly. If you got to get DBs, get DBs. You got to go get a rusher, get the rusher, but help them where they can actually make it. It's not just, you can't just go win by hanging. I'm just telling you, I played on one of the best offenses in the history. Defense matters, and it's what wins championships.
Need multiple ways to victory. The playoffs will always show you that.
Yeah.
The Seahawks were in some shootouts. They were in some grinds.
That's
you
right.
got to be able to do it all.
Even look at the Rams. Like they were lacking a lot on the defensive side of the ball, especially in the secondary. They were in the NFC Championship
That's
game.
exactly right.
Scoring points on the offensive side of the ball.
Not just the Cowboys who missed the playoffs. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, they missed the playoffs. All right, we're back for Sneaky Hembo Trivia. Not a lot of confidence in the room. Normally, answers are being shouted out all over the place. It was a quiet, muted crowd today, Gross.
There were some names being thrown around like Stafford and Elway. But the way to think about this is early Super Bowls. Because guys were playing in Super Bowls later in their careers because the Super Bowl didn't exist when, they were in their 20s. So Earl Morrall was brought up. I think Johnny Unitas, when he started Super Bowl V, was in his late 30s, like 37, 38. So that's going to be my guess. Johnny Unitas, Baltimore Colts, Super Bowl V.
Final answer?
Yes.
Let's see the answer. Bang!
Let's go.
My
This
God.
guy is just unstoppable. Hembo not even here today. He's working remotely. He was in LA for yesterday's broadcast. That is just an we're off to a new season start already.
It's already over.
It's already a field goal lead.
It's over.
That's
That was
impressive, bro.
incredible. No one else even close on that one. The correct answer, Johnny, is 37 years and 255 days old, Super Bowl V. Rich Gannon right behind him. Never too early to take a look at next year's Super Bowl odds for Super Bowl 61 in Los Angeles, which we will have on ESPN. Right now at DraftKings, the Seahawks and the Rams, co-favorites to win, with the Bills closely behind, followed by the rest of the pack of Philly, New England, and Baltimore. All right, let's finish things up with an NFL edition of Believe It or Not. J-Mac, we begin with you. Lamar Jackson has a better chance of reaching the Super Bowl next year than Patrick Mahomes does. Believe it or not.
Believe it?
Oh, you didn't want to say it with
Sound
the
like
chest.
I wanted to say it with my chest. Yes, Lamar Jackson, Baltimore, Jesse Minter coming in. First time head coach makes me a little. But hey, the one thing you know he's going to bring, there's going to be X's and O's on the defensive side of the ball that is going to stop people. He showed that with the Chargers. Now, can Lamar get over that hump? We're going to see. I'm going to say believe it.
Confidence level built as the analysis went on.
It did.
52% there, 52.
Kraz, to you. The AFC champion Patriots will miss the playoffs next season, believe it or not.
Well, I believe it. I think it's entirely possible. We see this often with teams that come up short and lose the Super Bowl. We saw it with the Chiefs this year, in fact. So, yeah, I think the schedule is going to get tougher. The Bills will continue to be good. The AFC field, I think, is strong with some emerging teams in, like, the AFC South. And, of course, the West loaded. So, yes, I believe that's possible.
Divisionally, watch out for the Jets, said nobody.
Never.
Jeff Saturday, Seattle will repeat as Super Bowl champs, believe it or not.
Oh, I'm going not here. This is tough. This has nothing to do, no disrespect to the Seahawks. This is just, I mean, the NFL is tough to repeat. So when you talk about all the teams you're going to have to go through, and look, I won Super Bowl. You get fortunate in certain circumstances, and sometimes it always doesn't go your way. The ball doesn't bounce your way, but they're going to be a heck of a team, definitely contending. I just think repeats are very difficult.
It's lousy when you throw the word luck in there to talk about a Super Bowl, but you do need some breaks. You got to stay healthy. A lot of things need to go your way. What's going to make it as difficult for Seattle to try to figure this thing out?
They were the 1 seed in large part because one of their running backs randomly picked up a ball in the end zone on a 2-point conversion.
Exactly.
Like that's not.
And it took like 3 minutes to decide it. Yeah.
Great team, great defense, great coaching, all that stuff. They belonged there. But if that flips and the Rams are the 1 seed, maybe we might be having a
And I think on top of that, for now, you think about for Mike McDonald, their head coach will be in his 3rd year with his 3rd different offensive coordinator, with Kubiak now becoming the head coach for the Raiders. So that's a major factor for them offensively. We know that defense is still going to be good, but figuring out who's going to be the next play caller and put them in the position that they got to this year, obviously.
The better you play, the more your staff gets rated. What's their plan for the offseason, Seattle, from a salary cap, player standpoint?
Yeah, there's some guys they've drafted very well, so they have some good players coming up for extensions. Jackson Smith and Jigba, Devin Witherspoon, those have to be addressed. Kenneth Walker, who was Super Bowl MVP, is a free agent. We'll see what they want to do about running back. Remember, they took him and Zach Charbonnet in the second round in back-to-back years. Yep. Charbonnet now coming off an injury, so we'll see where the market sends Kenneth Walker's price and if the Seahawks are willing to go there. But I think extensions for their successful early round draft picks is probably where a lot of the focus is.
Facts. 100%. And Snyder's done a great job of bringing the right guys in, keeping and you know, Dan made the point earlier. They got a great deal with Sam Darnold. So there is money to go around to keep this roster strong, build and develop. They have very good offensive line, young guys. They just brought in a rookie and Zabel who's going to they have done it right. And so pay the ones that got you there, because that builds credibility in your locker room. When you start paying the guys that you brought in because of performance, it just perpetuates itself.
And I will add, when you win a Super Bowl, guys get paid. So you mentioned Kenneth Walker, Rashid Shaheed's up there, guys on the defensive side of the ball, Reek Wool in their corners, Josh Jobe, Kobe Bryant. Like those guys now, you've earned major paydays because there are teams across the league. You know how it is, Jeff, where now I want Joe Fortenbaugh because he's a Super Bowl champion and he knows what it's like, so I want him in my locker room.
I like that. I like that a lot. That's some of the best analysis I've heard all day. One of the other things to keep in mind when you're trying to repeat, like Kansas City, Denver, the Chargers, the Raiders, they couldn't get out of their own way. The years for New England, the Bills, the Dolphins, the Jets could never get out of their own way.
That's right.
These guys got to worry about the Rams, the Niners. Arizona's obviously rebooting. Some early Super Bowl predictions. Super Bowl 61. We got the lower graphic. Let's not fully commit to the graphic here. McCourty, you start us off.
I'm just waiting for the screen grab 8 weeks into the season next year where somebody's starting quarterback gets hurt. I'm going to go with the Chargers and the Packers. The Super Bowl is going to be in L.A. I look at the Chargers, all the injuries they sustained on the offensive line can get healthy. Justin Herbert now with Mike McDaniel as his offensive coordinator to take another step, get that run game going, take a little pressure off of him, and then obviously the Packers, Jordan Love taking another step. I feel good about my way too early prediction. You like that? My odds are good.
You know what I love about it? No one's ever picked the Chargers to win the Super Bowl in the offseason.
This is brand new. I thought about this last night.
The best part is it took him a season, and he's talking about offensive line. Dominique Foxworth, J-Mac, offensive line work.
Well, that's because it was atrocious last year. So that's what we talked about.
For sure.
Saturday, reveal it.
I'm going Ravens-Rams. How about let's get Ravens-Rams? You talked about new head coach there in Baltimore, defensive-minded, tighten things up. They have some weapons over on the offensive side. If Lamar Jackson can stay healthy, get this thing going, and then flip it over with the Rams. Stafford announced he is coming back. I think they get better on defense. You heard it, I think it was Verse after the game talking about they kind of took things for granted. They didn't play as sharp. And to your point, they were a play away from having the 1 seed going through. This is a very good football team. Sean McVay is going to do a good job of rebooting this one. Two of the best receivers in the game. I like this one.
I like J-Mac's Packers pick. I'm picking them in the NFC in my way too early predictions. And the AFC, I'm going with this upstart team that we haven't heard much from in recent years. That'd be the Kansas City Chiefs.
I think, like, I've heard good things.
Yeah, I mean, right, like there's a little bit of history there. I think if Patrick Mahomes is able to come back, play early in the season, their offseason is going to be fascinating. But I think it's going to be aggressive, and I think they'll come back strong.
Little combo of J-Mac and Saturday for me. Give me the All-LA Super Bowl. See, the key with the Chargers, Graz, is to, in some way, shape, or form, quietly pick them every year so that when it finally happens, everyone sits there and is like, oh, my God, Fortenbaugh saw it as the year the Chargers broke through. Never mind the 20 to 25 previously that all fell apart.
Remember the old Charlie Brown trying to kick the football and Lucy kept pulling it away at the end? Yeah.
I think I was a year too early with him this year. The way Harbaugh builds these teams up, I mean, if that O-line had stayed healthy.
In L.A.,
that would be pretty tough.
What are the odds that doesn't want to work out?
What network is the game on?
I believe it would be where that beautiful setting was yesterday.
Yes.
Here on ESPN.
The handoff.
Coming up on First Take, is it time to